Hey everybody, Troy here. This is the first video that I'll make for the how-to, some practical tips for worship guitar playing that I found helpful as I made my transition into worship playing. Just a quick background about my guitar playing history. I basically came up in a blues style, played strats through Fender amps, tube screamers, wah pedal, pentatonic licks. You know, I was basically really into Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, that kind of thing. And once I got saved and became a Christian, I wanted to continue to use my guitar playing ability, but I found it pretty difficult to transition that style of playing into a worship context because it's quite a bit different. Not saying one is better than the other or harder than the other, it's just different. They don't even belong in the same camp as far as your use of effects and just the overall approach to playing. It's my dog. So I figured I'd make a quick video of something that I guess was probably one of the biggest aha moments that I've had this concerning worship playing, and it's about chord inversions. And you know, so for example, right, there's an A chord, there's an A chord, there's an A chord, there's an A chord, there's an A chord. There's a bunch of them, and in worship guitar playing, you find yourself using these inversions that, in my experience, really never made it into the blues realm or the R&B realm as much. And so therefore I wasn't as familiar with them and was finding it difficult to really fit in a worship context. So I'm going to give you some examples of what it maybe sounds like to play some of these rhythm parts with cowboy chords, and then some with these higher inversion chords that we often find in worship playing. And then I'm going to just chat a little bit more about how I feel learning those inversions really opens you up to being a little bit more creative, adding some flavor notes into some of your worship playing. So I'll play over some tracks like usual to give you an idea what it sounds like in context. But I also want to preface this by saying, in order for this video to make sense, you really need to know the Nashville number system. It's critical in understanding the language that I'll be using and some of the little prompts that'll come up on the screen as you watch the video. So if you don't know it, go out and research the Nashville number system. Super easy. As long as you know the major scale, it will make sense to you. Come back, watch the video, and hopefully you'll be able to apply some of this knowledge the next time you're learning a worship song and figuring out your parts for it. So we'll see you at the end. Thanks. So what you just saw there was a comparison for chord progression in the key of E, playing like traditional cowboy chords and some higher inversions, so you can kind of hear the differences and some of the movement that you can create and some of the different texture that you can create too. So what I want to look at now is actually going to teach you how to build some of these inversions. We're going to use the key of G. It's kind of the most accessible key when we're showing you these kind of things. So again, we're going to learn how to build the inversion chords using a G chord, and then after that we're going to look at actually building a chord progression and some of the different variations of inversions you can use in the key of G. So take a look. Okay, so we're going to look at a G chord and go through all the inversions that you can build off a G chord, and hopefully that helps you get familiar with the shapes. So there's your normal G. Start off the bar chord G like this. What we're going to do is take the 1 and the 5 of this chord right here, those strings, going to add a ring finger on the G string on the 7th fret, which is another 5, and then add your pinky on the B string on the 8th fret, which is a 1. So it gives you this inversion. That's number one. Expand this to here. Okay, so we go from here to here, which is like a D. To expand from there, it's... So we started... Now from there, you have this. Which brings you to the next bar chord that we all know. So we're back up to G. You can create an inversion from there. And then from there, it's 1 and 5. All the way back up to G again. So we have this, 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 so there's all the inversions in G. Gives you an idea of all the shapes. Now if you take that to A, right, easy, you start to remember these. So what we're going to look at next is going through chord progression in the key of G to show you maybe some of the inversions you could use for all the chords you might see in progression in the key of G. Okay, going to build a quick chord progression in the key of G, and the chord progression is going to be G, D, E minor, C, which is 1, 5, 6, 4 in the key of G. Had to get rid of the Gretsch, cannot get that thing to stay in tune, so we're going to try out this guitar. So we're going to, for the 1, we're going to use this shape here. For D, I'm going to slide this back, which is basically the bottom of this chord. So 6 is going to be, or E minor is going to be just like this 1 here, but middle finger, 7th fret, A string, which makes it minor. You can keep this finger here if you want to, the index finger. And then C, we're going to base it off this shape. So play it either here, or by putting the pinky down and putting the 5 in there. So to show you that you don't need to play all the notes at the same time, you know, you can use dyads, triads, that kind of thing. I'm going to just click on some drive and give a quick demonstration of what that might sound like. So again, G, D, E minor, C, 1, 5, 6, 4 in the key of G. Okay, so there you have it. That's a quick look at how to build chord inversions. And I know when I was transitioning from my blues playing and R&B playing into worship playing, a video like this would have really helped me as I stumbled my way through what chord shapes sound best playing in a worship context, and how I could have best fit in the band and contributed the best way that I could to the music. And being that I'm not very comfortable playing with a capo, I don't think capo's good or bad. I think it's just a context thing, and I realize that a lot of the really cool riffs and hooks that we hear are played with a capoed guitar. It's just something I'm not very comfortable with. So knowing this really helped me, and as you understand the shapes more, you'll be able to add flavor in there, and it'll be a thing where you got to hit a lot of bad notes before you find the good ones. It's just practice, muscle memory, and as you move forward, it'll become a great part of your playing. it'll be a really nice way for you to add some quality stuff to your rhythm playing and bring songs to the next level as they progress and as you're looking for them to get a little bit bigger. So if you're a beginner and you weren't really sure how this worked, I hope this helped you learn more and understand these chord shapes a little bit more. If you're an advanced player and you've just never really thought about this end of things, I hope that opens up your eyes and adds something to your playing. So please visit www.guitarforhisglory.com if you'd like to read some pedal reviews, watch some pedal demos, and then in the future I'll have some more practical tips videos like this. So hope it helped. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time. God bless.